welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, January 18th, 2021. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and this is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats. The most important, knitting, because that is what I love to do all day, every day. And now, we can throw some crocheting in there. Also laundry, because I'm doing that, but it's not that I love to do laundry. So there are times where it's enjoyable, there are times when it's not enjoyable, If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. I also have show notes, links to things that I will be talking about. Hopefully I will remember all the things that I say, and they will be on my blog. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on if you're on my blog already, everything is already there. I have a lot to discuss. I have just been on just knitting like the wind this week, and it's been quite wonderful. I've gotten a lot done. And I think I've also scheduled out my knitting this week that I will continue to get a lot done as well. I have my temperature blanket. My yarn did arrive. I have started. I did teach myself how to read a crochet pattern. It's kind of pretty easy. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So if you'd like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to crack upon, an animal to snuggle, laundry to fold, maybe you're working out. I don't know what you're doing. You could be gardening. You could be doing all of those things or none of those things. Whatever brings you joy. You can come back and make some crafty chat. This tea has very quickly become some of my favorite tea. And you're probably like, what is the tea? And I will tell you. My parents got me this tea for Christmas. It is from David's Tea, and it is called Vanilla Cappuccino. And it has the faintest taste of coffee, but it's mainly vanilla and black tea, and it's so good. And there's also like coffee beans, and it's a loose leaf. There's coffee beans in the loose leaf tea, and like I feel like, how many times can I say the word like? I feel like it has just enough amount of caffeine to like give me a nice little boost in the afternoon, but not enough to be like, wow, I'm gonna be up for the next 10 hours. Which is never good, especially on a Monday when you need to have good rest ready to go for the week. It is so good. I would highly recommend it. It is delicious. Yeah. It just smells so good. Like, it's mainly vanilla, but it's also got like the lightest hint of coffee. And it's just so good. Like, this tea has brought me so much joy. I also got another bag of loose leaf tea from my parents for Christmas that's caramel shortbread, and oh my goodness, that is so good. There's no caffeine in that one, and it is delicious. Also smells amazing. Like, really, if anything, not if anything, you can use these teas as both a candle and a delicious warm beverage, because they smell so good. I've only done like David's Tea advent calendars before. I haven't actually had full packages, and so this is just really amazing, because if you have like the advent calendars, you maybe get 2 cups of tea out of the little things, which is wonderful if you want to try things, but if you love something and then you're out. You don't really have a whole lot of time to enjoy it other than the 1 or 2 cups of tea that you do get. And so having these bags, they're very small. I think they're maybe 8 ounces, if that. and they're just so good. I don't know if you can hear Sam, but he is having a work phone call. Sounds like he's walking around the apartment, which I was not expecting. I'm back. There was a door open that was allowing sound to come through, so that's why it seemed like it was louder than normal. So tea is very important. Love it. Would highly recommend checking out David's Tea if you can. So I have a lot of knitting to discuss. I have a cast on, I've got a new project, I've got old projects. I'm also wearing a beautiful knitted item, which just brings me joy. You know, the wonderfulness of having and comfort of having a knitted item on. When you're doing things that you don't necessarily want to do and you have to go through your life and you're like, this task, whether it be serious or not serious, like sifting the kitty litter or something like that, you have a knitted item on, it just makes things so much better. In my opinion, though. It is also nice. It was cooler this morning. It has warmed up a little bit today, which is very sad, but that's okay. We will enjoy the cold days when we have them. And so I've been enjoying having my woolly sweater on. I've made quite a bit of progress with almost everything, I think. So let's start with this. It's at the very bottom of my bag. Okay, this is my Old World sweater by Lily of Wishbone Designs, and she also, or Wishbone Yarns. I believe I moved my progress keeper on this. I don't actually remember. I'm pretty sure I did. Or if I did, I feel like I did. Have I? Maybe I haven't worked on this. Maybe a couple rows. Maybe 5 or 6, maybe not as much as I thought. Been working on other things though, so you'll see that in just a minute. So this is my Old World sweater by Lily of Wishbone Yarns and Designs. She has incredible colorwork sweaters and also incredible yarn. I'm using Malabrigo Washed in the Plomo colorway, which is my main color, and then I'm also using Noro for my contrasting color. Can we even with that? No, we cannot. It is quite wonderful, and I love it dearly. Here is my Noro. I just finished my first ball of Noro, which is very exciting. And I'm currently working on my second ball of my Malabrigo. So I'm really excited about this for multiple reasons. Obviously, besides the fact that it is beautiful. Like, it's definitely a heavier sweater for sure. Like, it's not like a fingering weight sweater because it's not fingering weight. Quite an astute comment. Fact to be sharing. Yes, it's heavier because it's not fingering weight. What was I saying? Oh, that it's it's lighter. I get distracted by making jokes and making fun of the things that I say, and I forget my train of thought. So it's a little lighter weight. It's not like a fingering weight sweater. It's definitely heavier, but it's not super, super heavy either, and I really like that. This definitely won't be a wear all the time here in Houston type sweater, but when I am in colder climates, this will be perfect. I think actually it needs to be like this because I see all these short rows in the back. There we go. Not that this is gonna be something that keeps me warm when I'm outside in colder climates necessarily. This would keep me warm if I was outside in Houston. Does that make sense? Am I even making sense? That was a very not very well formed thought. I'm just really happy with how this is turning out. I'm just very pleased with the beauty of this color work. Like, can we even put it on a longer needle? That was really awesome. Really happy about that. I think maybe last time I talked to you, I had about 10 rows left of this color work chart that I'm working on. And I may have like 6 rows left of this color work chart. And I've been working on other things, so that's why I haven't been working on this as much, and I'm about to lose a bunch of stitches. Better say that. But once I'm done with this color work chart, and I do another one of these little zigzaggies, I get to divine for the sleeves, and I'm so excited. These sleeves are a little bit shorter. They're not quite 3/4. Like, can you even see? So like just slightly past my elbow. My elbow's right there. Maybe just slightly past my elbow, I believe, according to the picture. We'll also see how much yarn I have. I definitely got enough, but we'll see how it turns out. And yeah, I'm just really, really enjoying this. Also, I have thought about this quite a lot. And it's been really wonderful. We're going to take a little break. We're going to have some knitting discussion before I show you any of my other projects. So it's been about a week, almost a week, that I have not had any test knits on my needles. Which is, and I will say this now, this is nothing against any of the test knits that I've done. It's nothing against any deadlines that anybody has put on these test knits that I've done. It's all on me. It's literally all on me. I've loved every single test knit that I've done in the past, will do in the future. I'm not complaining about doing the act of test knitting because that is my choice. But not having had any test knits to work on this week, or almost a week, has been so good for my knitting mojo and just my creativity in general. I've been so excited about like upcoming projects and things to think about, and yarn I want to use for sweaters that I've had in my queue for forever. I really am inspired to look at my stash more, which, like, it's not to say that I'm not excited when I'm working on test knits and that I'm not like creatively inspired, because I definitely am, but I think this just not having any test knits on my needles is very rejuvenating. It's very nice, you know, like taking a break from anything, whether it be good or not as good, hopefully not bad, but taking breaks is good and it's important, and there's nothing wrong with taking breaks, and it's healthy. So having this, I've done so good about not saying yes to any test knits. I've seen several of them pop up on my Instagram feed, and yeah. Which, if you're new, if you're curious how I find test knits, it is mainly on my Instagram feed. That's mainly where I see tester calls. I know there are other things like Yarn Pond, and you can find them on Ravelry. Also, people have newsletters that they use usually for their test knitting calls, which I am subscribed to a couple of those, but mainly on Instagram is where I find mine. Everyone's different. Everyone has their preferred place to test and find tests and run their tests and whatever, and everyone's different, and I really appreciate that, because if we were all the same, it would be very boring. So we're not all the same, and we can have a bunch of very interesting and fun experiences in the test knitting world, or test crocheting, whatever you may be doing. So if you are interested in testing this year, if maybe testing is one of your 2021 knitting or crocheting, crafting goals or plans, just keep an eye out on Instagram. There's also a bunch of hashtags that you can follow, like test knitters, test knitters wanted, test knitters needed, testing, knitting, test knit, all that kind of stuff. If you just put that into Instagram and for a hashtag, so much stuff will pop up. And put your name out there. Don't be afraid. It's really okay. The worst that they can say is no, and that's all they can do, and it's really not that big of a deal. And it definitely takes time, but it's so much fun, and you get to learn a lot. You get to try out new things that you may not have thought you would try out, and knit from designers that you may not have thought you would have knit from. You get to knit from new designers. You get to knit from big designers sometimes. That doesn't happen quite as often, but sometimes it does, and it's really fun. And yeah, it's just a really great way to meet people and be a part of a really great part of the knitting community. And I would highly recommend it if you are new to test knitting or have never test knit before. It's a lot of fun. It's a really great way. I feel like being test knitting has really helped me over the years that I've done it become more confident in my knitting knowledge, I guess, because like that's the job of a test knitter, is to try out the pattern, make sure that it's okay. Obviously there's tech editing before that, and that's a whole other thing, but test knitting itself is actually doing the active knitting. And yeah, and it's just, I feel like I can look at things a little bit more of like, what are they trying to say here? Like, I know that this is the goal, the picture is the goal, but this doesn't exactly give me that. So if you can offer up a suggestion, if the designer is open to that, then that's also awesome. And then you get to kind of like work on how could it be better? How can I work with the designer to maybe help figure this out, how it needs to be written, whatever. I don't know, this turned into a totally different tangent of what I was planning on talking about, but if you have any questions about test knitting, feel free to ask me. Send me a message on Instagram. I would love to chat with you about test knitting, because it is such a wonderful experience, and I think it is amazing. And just because you don't think that your knitting level is as high as it needs to be, that's probably not true. There are lots of different levels that people are looking for, that people don't even really care. Like if you knit or crochet, then that's all that they're really looking for. Sometimes your experience level does matter depending on what the pattern is, but ultimately, I mean, they're gonna know what they're looking for. So if you feel like you are not good enough knitting-wise to knit a certain pattern, or to even test knit at all, that's not true. That's not true. All you just have to do is try. And that's all that really matters. So, try test knitting. It's the moral of the story. It's a bit of a tangent. But to go back to what I was saying before, not having test knits on my needles has been really amazing. I've really enjoyed it. And I think because of that, obviously I haven't been working on test knits, so I've been working on all my other things. It's been really amazing. Really amazing. I'm really stumbling over my words today. Why is that? And yeah, I feel more freedom in my knitting, which is really exciting, and I really love that. Just that, like, my time is more, my time is more free to be given to any of my projects. My time is more free to be given to planning new projects. Which I may have test knits when I get yarn, or yarn arrives, or I decide to cast on something new. The situation may have totally changed by then. But I don't know that right now, and I'm going to use this creative, inspirational time that I'm feeling very encouraged to put a lot of plans together. I think that's super fun, and I'm going to seize the moment, seize the creative moment. And there's the title of this podcast. So while we're talking, very quickly while we're talking about creative things that are going to be happening soon, there's a petite knit sweater that I have been, again, I've been thinking about it and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. So I will be knitting it sometime soon whenever my yarn arrives. I may have ordered some yarn. No shame. You know what? Seize the creative moment. And I'm very excited for that to arrive so I can show it to you guys and potentially get started. And I know that I've got a bunch of other yarn to knit into sweaters and all the other amazing things, but this was too good. My yarn is too good. So I had to do it. I can't wait to show it to you guys. But in the meantime, let's talk about my other projects that I'm working on. So I appreciate that people did in fact say The Weekender when I said, what am I working on? The Weekender. And in fact, you would be right. Like I said, I have knit from here. Not terribly much, but some. I finished this light pink color, which is very exciting. This is all I have left. And yes, or I get to start my darker color, which is Lion Brand Woolies, which I'm very excited to be using. This is the Rose Heather colorway, and I believe this lighter pink is called Blush Heather, maybe, or just Blush, I believe. So this is The Weekender by Andrea Mowry. This is a beloved sweater pattern by all. It's very straightforward and simple. It's bottom up. It's knit inside out, so this, your reversed stockinette will be on the outside. And you also have a super cute slip stitch down the front, which is just, it just shows off so well against the purl side, and I love that. It's just a really classy looking sweater, and I'm very excited. Been wanting to make one of these for a very long time, and now is my time. Split hem, which I'm doing a bad job of showing off. Split hem, high-low hem, awesome. Got some ribbing and texture up on the top. Super great. I believe it's kind of like a crew boat neck. I realize are two different things, but I feel like it's a combination of those two, so we're gonna go with it. I could be wrong, but in my mind, that is what I think of when I see that. So that is super awesome. This is just knitting and 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 knitting in the round, and I love that, which is great for reading. And yeah, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks recently. Like this past week and a half, I feel like has been solely audiobooks, which is great. And yes, so I've been working on other things. There's one thing in particular, two things in particular that I've been working on that I haven't shown you yet. But I did work on these other two things since last time I talked to you. And this, my Old World sweater. Okay, we're going to put this in the bottom of my bag. I do have a new carry around with me bag, which you may be wondering, what in the world does that even mean? And I will tell you, it is the bag that I carry around with me when I move from room to room in the apartment. It's very straightforward. But I got this bag for Christmas for my parents. And this is from Wool and Honey in Michigan, the yarn store Wool and Honey in Michigan. So I've never been there before, but I followed them on Instagram for quite a long time, and I would love to go someday. I've never been to Michigan, and I feel like if we ever go, that would be top of my list. One of the top things on my list. But I've seen this bag on their Instagram so much, and it's such a big bag, and I love it. It's so cute. It's very high quality, very sturdy, and it's got a flat bottom. so it sits really nicely. And it's just yeah, like I said, the quality is really nice. It's definitely like, this is not peeling off or flaking off. It's very nicely printed on here. And I just love the llama or alpaca or whatever it may be. I think it's amazing, and I just love everything about it. So this is my new carry around bag, except for my temperature blanket, which is living in a box because it's so big. Or the yarn for it is so big, I should say. So this is really what I've been working on because it has brought me much joy. And this is my advent calendar project, and I'm almost done with it. What? It's not November of 2021 and I'm scrambling to get my advent calendar project done from the year before. Who am I? What? Okay, so this is Dotted Rays by Stephen West. And I am using the Vitamin C Fade, Advent Calendar Fade from Pineapple Yarn. And it is truly amazing. Like, can we even? Also, just with the progress that I made? Like, what? Where's the progress keeper? There it is. So there's the progress keeper that I put there last time we chatted, and I have knit a lot, and we're moving in a pink direction, so this is the one that's currently attached, and then comes this middle one. Whoa, whoa. They just rolled away from me, so you can't see the first two, but I do have the last one. So this is exciting to be moving in this amazing, colorful direction. And I'll just pick this up later. But yeah, I don't know why this, like, I've been really wanting to work on just this, but I've just been wanting to work on just this, and I love it so much. It's just so bright and happy, you know? And I have my glazed donut from Little Bitty Delights, which I love dearly. And yeah, we'll see where I get to by next week. I'm just feeling very inspired to get this done just because I love it so much and it's so bright and happy and I want to be able to wear it. I'm debating fringe. I'm debating tassels. If I did fringe, it would be all along the bottom, except also I may be doing the chevron border. In which case, probably no fringe. But, I guess if there's chevrons, it may look kind of weird to have the tassels on the ends. I didn't think about that. We'll see. I was planning on doing the chevrons because also everyone, like I said, I'm good at knitting math. Any other math, I'm not good at. It'll make me cry. You can ask my mom. I've shed many a tear over some math in my life. But knitting math, on the other hand, I can't understand. I don't know why that is. It's like Kevin from The Office and how he can do math when it comes to food, but any other math, even though he's in accounting, he cannot do. So I'm like Kevin with food, me in knitting, I can do that math. I figured out how many wedges I have left in the pattern, how many colors I have left, and how many little eyelet holes I need to do per color to make sure that I use up a good amount, and how many wedges or how many colors each wedge needs in order to use up all the colors before I like have to figure out the math to increase the pattern. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one, because that was, though it was not challenging in the end, it definitely took me a while to wrap my head around for some reason. I was like, wait, how do I figure this out? But I figured it out, and I'm very proud of myself, because now I know that I'm gonna be using all 24 colors and magically end up on the chevron border potentially with the 24th color. Maybe 2 colors, I believe it ended up being. But, and obviously because the shawl is growing, because it's Stephen West and the shawl is massive. And so I'm using more and more of each color, which is really nice. And that way, though I'm totally fine with having leftover bits and pieces, because I think that's awesome, there's always a use for them, I can put more of it into the shawl, which is what I really wanted, which I'm very excited about. So I can't wait till it's like getting close to being done or whatever. Just seeing these colors come together, I'm just very excited for me to see, for you to see, to post about it, and then to eventually wear it. I just cannot wait. So next up, we're gonna take a little tea break, you know, because vanilla cappuccino tea, you don't say no to. Although it's not as warm as it once was, that's okay. Still delicious. So, this is a new cast on. And I remain consistent with this, so if you have seen previous episodes, you may be like, you said that was gonna be your sock bag. And it is in fact my sock bag. Which means one thing, you know. I have almost a fully knit sock. What? What? And on my circulars. So let's have some backstory for this, shall we? Amanda. Wonderful Amanda at Little Bitty Delights. She makes the Progress Keepers. She writes some patterns. She is very wonderful, so sweet. She and I now can't remember her username, Hand Knit by Cam. Little Bitty Delights and Hand Knit by Cam, they are hosting a year-long make-along, knit-along called the Comfort Sock Cal all year. The requirement is that you knit a pair of socks a month, and then by the end, you will have 12 pairs of socks. Is that not amazing? That's how math works. Whoa. Is it comforting sock cal? Excuse me, it's not comfort sock cal, it's comforting sock cal. And you can follow the hashtag on Instagram. There's quite a lot of very inspirational pictures, but to be like part of the club, the cool people who are doing this, who have committed and will do much better job than I will. There is a Facebook group that you do have to request access to, but Amanda and Cam are regulating that. So they'll include you and invite you in, and then you can be part of the really awesome group of people that are knitting socks all year. And I saw that this was happening at the end of last year, and I was like, that could be very interesting. And I've been really wanting to get more into socks. Clearly the end of last year was very sock focused, even though I didn't really do any very much sock knitting. I knit one pair of socks that was a test knit. And so this year I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do it. So I grabbed some Felici because that's easy. And I knew of a pattern that I would just not be intimidated by, the vanilla latte pattern, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. Here's my Felici. It is the fanciful colorway. And here we are today. I somehow so I recorded last week, right? I then cast this on in the evening and knit from the top to the light blue stripe, then proceeded to knit almost all of this that Tuesday. And then I've just been working on the foot. I started working more on my advent calendar, and here I am. I've knit past where I need to, so I actually in fact have to rip out some of my foot to start the toe decreases. And if I could magically continue this amazing track record of knitting one sock a week, feel like that's not too intense, and I feel like that's very manageable, and have it in rotation with my other projects, I feel like potentially knitting 12 pairs of socks this year is very doable. I think that's very possible. I also did an Eye of Partridge heel flap, which I haven't done in forever, and it looks so beautiful. You know? And then I have my sparkly chocolate donut to mark my progress. And I love that. This is also from Amanda. She made that. Who am I? Who am I? So yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself, to say the least. I also have I knit this entire sock on my 9-inch circulars, which is very wonderful. Last time I mentioned socks, I can't type this right. Mentioned that Amanda had actually shared a video of another Progress Keeper maker that she had found, who had created a video of how she knits with her 9-inch circulars to prevent hand cramping, which I had quite a bit of trouble with the one pair of socks that I knit last year. I knit not very much on my 9-inch circulars and gave up and switched to DPNs, which is what I learned on. I learned on DPNs. I've never tried Magic Loop. I've never tried, actually no, that's not true. I have tried Magic Loop once and had intentions of doing two circulars, but that just never happened. And DPNs is just what I know and love. But now, so this video by Irene of Ubebe Beads, she makes these super cute Progress Keepers, like a baby Yoda and other cute things, and it's just so awesome. But she put together a very informative video of how she holds it to prevent hand cramping, and let me tell you, it's a lifesaver. If you have been trying to use 9-inch circulars for your sock knitting, if you are a sock knitter, it'll be linked in the show notes because it was really truly life-changing. And the way that she I can't remember if she throws or if she picks, but the way that I throw, I do let go of the needle with my right hand, so it doesn't work with my right hand, but enough playing around, and I adjust my right hand position quite frequently to make it more comfortable. But my left hand was the one that was cramping more, so it's really, that's been a life changer for me, and I can't begin to tell you how happy I am about that. I also had many questions of how to do a heel flap and turn on 9-inch circulars, and the people in the Comforting Sock Knit Along group on Facebook were so helpful. Like, I can't even. Like, someone took pictures of how they did it on their sock for me, and I was like, I don't even know you, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Now I know you, but I didn't know you before. Thank you for taking pictures. So it's just like, I've learned so much already just with this one sock, and I'm loving it, and I love the fabric that I'm creating, and I really just love knitting with Felici, and I am very excited about this upcoming year potentially of 12 socks. Like, that would be really amazing. I just can't even. So here's to knitting more socks. I also want to try different types of 9-inch circulars, because these are wooden. I don't actually remember the brand. Oh, these are from Clover. And they're really awesome. I do love them. But I also would love to try metal ones. I know ChowGoo has their shorties for sock knitting that I would really like to try. Do you have any, if you knit socks on 9-inch circulars, do you have a preferred needle that you like to use? And if so, please let me know, because I want to do some research. So I would love to get this sock is getting done today. Like, there's just no way I'm not getting it done, because it just has been going so fast. So I need to not procrastinate, and literally I need to plan to finish the toe and immediately cast on the next sock. Like, not even stop in between, just stop this, like, finish the sock, immediately start the second one. Otherwise I will get second sock syndrome. I know it will happen, and I need to prevent that. So this is the year of figuring out how I knit socks. I'm doing a 64 stitch sock on a size 1. I know that this kind of thing of your vanilla pattern that you have in your numbers is something that everybody knows. If you're a sock knitter, you just know what you like. I don't know what I like. And so I'm gonna use this year to figure it out, and I'm really excited about that. And this is my sock bag. So I'm super excited to be doing this Comforting Sock Cowl knit along this year, and I'm very excited about the people in this group and just being able to craft together online, and it's just really wonderful. So I'm excited about the upcoming projects that I have sock wise. Who knows what will be coming next? I don't know. We'll have to see. So next up, I'm gonna not talk about this for super long, but this is my temperature blanket that I have decided that I'm going to be doing this year. This was inspired by Tony at TL Yarn Crafts on Instagram. And she's also hosting a crochet along that starts on Tuesday, and I believe it goes, I don't remember how long it goes, but it does start on Tuesday. And so all of her information for that is on her Instagram. And I believe her only requirement is that you crochet one of her patterns, which I am doing. So I'm also participating in this crochet along, which I've never participated in a crochet along because I don't really crochet. And so I taught myself how to read crochet patterns whenever I started this, and now I don't remember when exactly I started this. Whenever my yarn showed up. And it was a struggle. It was definitely, I have to sit here and read this multiple times to try and understand what is going on. I eventually did get it, but also, like, the techniques that were being used, like the join as you go method, I was not understanding. And thankfully, Tony has a lot of really amazing and very clearly explained tutorials on her YouTube channel, so I definitely took advantage of a lot of those videos. No shame, because I was learning and I learned good things and I learned new things, and it was really awesome. And she also has a very soothing voice, and so it was just kind of like, oh, I know what, I can totally do this. It felt like she was holding my hand for the whole thing. It was very, very wonderful. Would highly recommend you checking out her YouTube channel and her Instagram and all of her patterns as well. But, so she has multiple blanket patterns that are crocheted. You can really use any kind of blanket or anything. You can make anything a temperature thing throughout the year. There's a lot of ways you can define it. There's whatever, there are no rules, basically. You could just make it however you want. I am doing her Bias Granny Temperature Blanket. She's also written a bunch of really amazing blog posts of where to find your yarn, how much yarn do you get, color palettes, what information do you base it off of, do you go off the highs or the lows, or all that stuff. It's all on her blog. So I had fun picking out my palette, and then it took a while for my yarn to arrive, which is fine, but it finally did arrive and I was very excited. And I planned out my little gauge, and I don't know how well you can see, that's my color palette, which I think is fun. So we have the cold down here, and we go all the way to 100 plus up here. Yes, and you may be wondering what yarn am I using, and I will tell you. I'm technically using two different types of yarn. I'm using, are these both the same? Yes, unfortunately they are. Here we go. Okay, so I'm using Stylecraft Special DK, which looks like that. And then I'm also using Paint Box Yarns Simply DK, which looks like this. And I got both of these yarns from Love Craft online, that's the website, and they have a bunch of other yarns as well, but they were also having a sale, so I took advantage of that, which is really awesome. And my crochet hook is attached. This is what I have so far. What? And now I'm a couple days behind, but that's okay. We clearly had a lot of cold days. So here we have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. I am so proud of myself. Some of the days I messed up on. One of them I attached it on the wrong side. Definitely had to rip out quite a lot, but that's okay. I taught myself how to make these little baby triangles. We are on our way to a blanket, people, and I'm so excited. And like learning all things with your hands, I feel like once you get the motions down, it's a lot easier to continue on. Like once you, it may not even be that you understand it, just once you know how it feels like to do it correctly, it's much easier to do it again and again for me. And that may be for everyone, it may be for you, it may be for a handful of people, but for me, once I know what it feels like, I can do it again. I may not understand, and that's how I will like progress my knowledge and ability to learn how and why. But in the meantime, I'll just work on the motions and what feels right and what is correct, if that makes sense. So, and I feel like that's one of the things that can be the most frustrating, especially when you're learning something new and you're learning something with your hands and it's like, I don't know what this is supposed to feel like. I'm trying to teach myself and I have literally no idea what I'm doing. Like I can barely read this pattern. Don't ask me what a double crochet is, I have no idea. I need to watch a video refresher. And yes, that's literally me. Like I know kind of what a double crochet, or I knew kind of what a double crochet was, but I couldn't tell you how to do it, and I couldn't show you how to do it. I couldn't do it if you asked me to. But once I saw a video on Tony's channel, it was like, okay, I remember I've done this before at some other point in my life. It should be okay. I know I've made granny squares before. It should be okay. I have no idea what this joining as you go is, but now I know. So I have really enjoyed the learning process, though it seemed very steep. I know that my knitting knowledge helped significantly, which is really nice. And yeah, I'm just plugging along. I think I will do the batch work, I believe is what she calls it, where you save all the work, a week's worth of work for a Sunday or whatever day works best, so I can like not be working on it every single day, which I may want to, so I may do that. But I also feel like I will learn better with this and get better at crocheting more if I can do a lot of it in one sitting. I feel like doing one square a day is not going to be enough for me to really solidify the crocheting skills that I'm trying to cultivate. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. So, in my opinion, that's just my like learning crocheting style, what I think might be the best. I don't actually know that. And it may be different for you, which is awesome because we're all different. And I'm glad we're all different, because if we were all the same, it would be boring. I'm also glad that I found this crochet hook, because I don't know where most of my crochet hooks are, which is very sad because I know I had a set somewhere or a large assortment of them, and now I can't find them. But I was able to find this one, which magically happened to be the right one that I needed, which was wonderful. Because unlike knitting needles, I don't have an everlasting supply of knitting needles, of crochet hooks, excuse me. Knitting needles I do, but not crochet hooks. So I have this all written out. This is just for my ease. I believe Tony suggests doing something like this on one of her blog posts, and I had fun figuring it out. Temperature wise, 55 to 61 is this light pink, 100 plus is this dark blue. I have a wider range of numbers in the cooler temperatures, then that's just because we don't have very many cool days. So I have a smaller range of numbers in the hotter temperatures to get more color variation. Otherwise I would just have big massive blocks of the one color, which clearly I have a bunch of the really cold day, but I mean, that's not going to happen very often. And I think there were maybe 2 blocks where I was actually looking at the wrong day, so I did it in the wrong color, but it was just one color off. So I left it. It was close enough. I was like trying to figure it out, and I was really proud of it, and it looked really good, and then I realized it was the wrong color, and it was just like, oh, are you for real? Are you for real? Indeed so. I did mess up. So this is nice. I really am happy to have this, and I had fun planning it out. So the temperature blanket by TL Yarn Crafts, our Tony, who's very wonderful. And yeah, we're trying all the new things this year, and I'm very excited about it. I'm a little overwhelmed, but also in the best way possible, because it's very creatively inspiring. You know, it's fun. I really enjoy learning new things, and I also feel like knitting and crocheting and just crafting in general is one of those things that you're never gonna know everything. There's always something new, and the ability to learn more and to teach yourself more, or take classes from people, or whatever, a mixture of both is just really wonderful. And I'm excited to focus on learning and focus on trying new things this year when it comes to my crafting, whether it be knitting or crocheting related or something totally different. I don't even know. We'll see. And I'm just really excited about that. I think that's very inspiring to me, and it may be inspiring to you, in which case, try new things. It's a lot of fun, even though it can be very frustrating. Can be very frustrating, and it can be like, oh my goodness, I'm good at this other thing. Why am I not good at this? This is just with a hook instead of 2 needles. It should be the same, but it's not. It's definitely not the same. And there's a learning curve that comes with that, and that's okay. And it's good to learn new things. And I'm just talking in circles at this point. So, I hope that was a fun discussion for you, because it was a fun discussion for me and maybe inspiring. And also, it's not too late to start a temperature blanket, and really you can do it you don't have to start in January. You can start from whatever month you want. And it doesn't have to be a year. You could do a smaller whatever. It could be a month-long thing. Make it your own, you know? There's a lot of planning that goes into it, but that's part of the fun, you know? It's fun to plan that stuff out. That is all that I have for you guys this week. I had a lot of knitting to show you and to discuss. So, with that, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was creatively inspiring to you as well. I think I've said that phrase and similar phrases quite a lot this episode. So hopefully it didn't get annoying and it was entertaining, you know, and creatively inspiring. But yes, thank you for watching this episode. I have these times where I'm like on a roll and then my brain is like, okay, we're done talking. Now what do you want to say? I don't know what you want to say. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for just taking time out of your day, watching this episode, watching this podcast time and time again. I really appreciate every single one of you, all your comments, all your likes, messages, subscriptions, all that stuff. That means so much to me. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, like I said, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. Most active on Instagram, show notes, all that stuff. If you are interested in what I'm reading, I don't always talk about it on the podcast, but if you are interested in what I'm reading, you can follow me on Goodreads. I post all my stuff there. I don't always write reviews. In fact, I very rarely write reviews unless it was very moving, in which case I do, or it was particularly special. But yeah, I don't always talk about that on here. So if you are interested in what I'm reading, you can follow me on Goodreads and we can be friends and all that jazz. Goodreads is a confusing platform. I don't really completely understand it, but it is what it is. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I have lots of crafty plans. All these crafty plans, just continuing to bring me joy, making sure to make that a priority with my crafting. I think that's important. This new year, with all the things that have already happened and upcoming things that are happening, and just find the joy in the little things, whether it be your crafting or any other thing that you may be doing. I hope you find joy in the little things. You know what? It would be really amazing if I had a second finish sock, if I have a pair of socks for next week. What? I'm not going to set that as a goal, because if I don't get that done, I feel like I'll feel really bad, but that would be pretty amazing, you know? I think it's the self-striping yarn. I really think that makes things go by faster, and I don't feel as, like, bored. Not that I'm bored, but, like, having the color change is really, really fun for me. and just makes things go faster, in my opinion. But I don't know. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. I know a lot of people feel that way about self-striping yarn. So, more squares on my temperature blanket, more wedges on my dotted rays, more sweater progress. Maybe a new cast on? No, I shouldn't do that. But it depends if things get finished. I don't know. We will have to see. I mean, I don't really know what would get finished besides the socks, and if the socks get finished, then I'll just wait to cast on a new pair of socks. You know? I'll have to think about it. Oh, I need to throw in a languishing whip into the rotation. That's what I need to do. I keep forgetting to do that. That'll be the goal for next week. Have a languishing whip in the rotation. Yes. Because all of these were started last month, if not this month. So none of these, all of these things are like my most recent projects. But it's bringing me joy. That's all that really matters. That's what we're going for. There's no rule. Do what brings you joy. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. You are wonderful. Appreciate you. Enjoy the cold weather. If you have it for long periods of time, bundle up in all the woolly goodness. I'm enjoying the cold weather while we have it, and wearing my Forager sweater by Isabel Kramer. I love it dearly. I really love this yarn. I really need to knit more with it, but I love it so much. That is all that I have for you guys this week. So with that, I will see you guys next week. Bye. Maybe with a finished sock. I don't know. We'll see.